doing holiday cyber scam awareness. And I'm going to be teaching you how to identify and protect against holiday scams. We're going to be going through 4 different sections. We're going to be understanding what a cyber scam is, the common types that you're going to see throughout the holidays, as well as how to identify them, and then lastly, how to protect yourself. So we can go ahead and get this started. The first thing we're going to go through is, what is the definition of a cyber scam? So a cyber scam is a fraudulent scheme carried out online using deceptive means, whether that's to an email or a fake website or even social media messages. And we're going to go through those a little bit more in depth in just a little bit. So their goal is to trick you into revealing either sensitive information or giving them money. And it's exactly what TC said. People are out there using their 9 to 5 to try to scam you out of your money using what appears to be legitimate ways. Now, an overview of our trends that we see. So every January, the FBI releases a report of year over year what scams they saw. And from September to December, they see a 30% increase every year in these scam campaigns, whether that's phishing or even their texting or fake websites. And the importance of awareness is I like to give these presentations, and I've given these presentations through years in the past in my previous life, that it makes you aware, and it also enables you to recognize red flags. And so that reduces your vulnerability and also encourages you to shop online safely, especially during the holiday season, because that's the peak time that you would see it. So that is an understanding of what they are. Now, the common types of cyber scams that you're going to see is phishing emails, as TC alluded to. Phishing emails appear to be somebody that you trust or a company that you would trust, whether that is your boss or FedEx or Amazon. They try to make these emails look as legitimate as possible to get you to click on links or to respond to them with information, like personal information they can use to hack into your accounts. Now, what you see over here on the right is an actual text that I received yesterday. This looks like it's from the USPS telling me that I have a parcel that has an invalid zip code. Well, my question would be, how did the Postal Service get my phone number to text me on this package? But also, one thing that really stood out to me before I even looked at the rest of the message was this link right here, right? So to me, as a cybersecurity professional, it stands out immediately because it's USPS.com-parcel-RYUI.VIP. That doesn't sound like a Postal Service website to me. And I hope it doesn't to you. But after this presentation, hopefully we can identify some of those things. The next type of scam that you're going to see very common are fake e-commerce sites. I came across one the other day that was as legitimate as possible. I found it on Facebook. It was for Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm shopping for a few kids that enjoy football, baseball, soccer. And I saw that there was a goal on sale for very cheap. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And I clicked on it. I don't know what I was thinking. We were going somewhere and I was in the car, not even thinking about what we were doing. And I clicked on it and it looked like the Dick's website, the Dick's Sporting Goods website. It had the logo on the top, all the icons that you would normally see, except for on the bottom, I saw that the font was different than the rest of the website. And I was like, something doesn't look right here. And that made me check what's called the URL, right? So the URL is just, in layman's terms, it's a website. So www.google.com is called a URL. And I clicked it, or I checked it, and it said dickssavings.com instead of dicksportinggoods.com. And that really was a red flag. And I sent it to all my friends and said, hey, if you see this online, it's not legitimate. Please don't click on it. But the fake e-commerce websites really appear to be legitimate. And so they want you to purchase something on it, give them your debit card or your credit card information. to take your money and not ever actually send you any of the goods that you purchase. And one thing I would like to point out while we're talking about this subject right here is the ICE put out a report last year where they recommended that anybody that is doing online shopping do so with a credit card as opposed to a debit card. And I know that we in Building Blocks has always talked about try to keep your credit card usage a little bit low because it will affect your debt to income ratio. Now, why I tell you to use a credit card is credit cards give you a protection for your money, right? So if you were to accidentally fall for one of these fake e-commerce websites and you use a credit card, you're not out any money at that time while they're doing their investigation. And those people could charge you $10, they could charge you $1,000. And all that money is credit, and you're not actually owing that money until they're through with their investigation. And 90% of the time, it is returned back to that card because it is fraudulent, but sometimes it is a legitimate purchase. Now, whereas you use it with a debit card, they pull $1,000 out of your account. That's $1,000 of your real money. That's $1,000 of your mortgage payment, of your kids' tuition that you don't have while they're doing this investigation, which is, to me, a very scary moment. So I always recommend when you're doing online shopping, to do so with a credit card because it protects you and your finances. The next type of scam you're going to see is charity scams. So during the holiday season, you see a big push from all of your nationwide charities because a lot of people are getting their end of year bonuses or they're getting their Christmas bonuses that they don't have real plans for, and they're trying to commit them to charity. So Red Cross, Salvation Army, all of them are coming up with campaigns to try to get you to donate to help people in need, which is a very thoughtful thing to give and to do. Now, the issue with that is scammers are always trying to take your money. So they're going to come up with websites that are Red Cross with one S, that if you're quickly clicking and not paying attention to the site, you're going to fall for it because it looks like Red Cross. It's just missing an S, or it's got a special character in between red and cross, so red-cross. And the website looks legitimate. All of a sudden, you're giving $1,000 to somebody that is not the actual charity. And that is not something that you really want to do, especially when you're trying to help people in need. And the next to the last type of scam that you're going to run across are social media scams. So scammers leverage social media platforms to promote fake offers or contests. I like to call them, as they've been dubbed in my house, as "hey girl" messages. So somebody you haven't talked to in 15 years since high school, 20 years, 30 years since high school, will send you a message, "Hey girl," or "Hey bro," and they're trying to sell you something that is not legitimate. Chances are that their account is hacked, and they're going through everybody that is on their friends list and sending them fake messages. These happen all year long, but they happen a lot during the holidays because people are more into purchasing cheap products or purchasing discounted products during the holidays, especially in the Black Friday time. Now, awareness of these scams are extremely crucial because I wouldn't recommend purchasing anything off of messages or ads that you see on Facebook that may not be legitimate, like legitimately posted from a company, whether it be Amazon or anything like that. The last thing is gift card fraud. Gift card fraud is one of the largest scams in America, and they target specifically shoppers during the holidays. The scammers I like to call them malicious actors, but scammers like to pressure victims to buy gift cards as a form of payment or even for services. And the problem with gift cards is they're not trackable. Once you get a gift card numbered, you can give it to somebody and all of a sudden that gift card is gone. There's no way to recover it. The company can't get your money back from a gift card. And so that's why it's one of the largest ways to get it. Gift cards are also used a lot during phishing campaigns because you could get an email from your boss that says, hey, are you busy at this time? I need you to run to the store and buy me 10 $50 Amazon gift cards. And if somebody wasn't thinking, they would go out and buy it, and all of a sudden that money is gone. There's no getting that back. So those are your common types of scams. The next thing we're going to talk about is how do you identify a scam? So the first thing you're going to look for are red flags, and what could stand out to you easily is if you get a message containing an urgent request, hey, I need your help immediately, and this is somebody that you normally don't deal with day to day, there's a high chance that it's a scam. And I would recommend reaching out to that person in a third or in a second way, rather than if they reach out to you email, call them, be like, hey, did you send me a message and ask for help? And that is one way to really kind of get around it. Another thing you're looking for is spelling mistakes. So a lot of times on emails that you see that come through that look legitimate has spelling mistakes. And a lot of times they misspell you. You put the letter U instead of YOU, or they accidentally put an extra letter on a word that as you're reading, you're like, wait, hold on. A lot of these companies have editors that go through and double check and triple check to make sure that the emails that they're sending for marketing requests are legitimate. So that is one way to see it. And if you are unfamiliar with the sender address, so as we talked about with the fake e-commerce sites, they use these sites sometimes to send like email blasts to people that looks like it's Amazon or amz.co, right? These are addresses that you're going to be looking for and trying to prevent them and report them as spam. I would avoid clicking on any links or downloading any attachments from these emails. Oh, sorry, that's up. Let me get rid of that. One thing that you can do is whenever you get a link or anything, you would just confirm whether it's a legitimate source. So the one way that you could do that is if you take the URL that we were talking about earlier, put it into Google, hit a space, and then type in review. And all of a sudden you will get all the reviews. You'll get all the links that are for that company, and you can see if they're legitimate or not. I apologize. And you could see if the website is actually an official or a valid website that is claimed in that advertisement. And another way is, especially if you're trying to do online shopping, you're going to want to look for a padlock on that website, whether it's secured with HTTPS or HTTP. The S on the end just stands for security. I can tell you the whole word, but it's not going to make any sense. But the S at the end stands for security, and there's going to be a padlock on your website. So like whenever you type in www.google.com at the top of your, let's say, for example, Google Chrome, you're going to see a little padlock on the very top. And that's going to tell you that it is secured with a certificate and that website actually belongs to that company. So if it doesn't have the padlock, I wouldn't recommend putting in any financial information, strictly because it's going to go across not encrypted. So your credit card number could be out there for anybody. And the last thing that we're going to be talking about is how do you protect yourself for cybercrimes? First thing I would recommend is using strong passwords. A lot of your browsers these days, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and them come with their own password manager, or you could even use a third-party password manager such as LastPass or OnePass or KeePass. And that could create a strong password for you and then save it so you don't have to remember typing it in every single time. And it would create a long password for you with random characters and numbers, which are hard to guess for cyber criminals, right? Using easily guessable information such as your name, your kids' names, your wife's names, all this stuff that you can find on Facebook, birthdays, common phrases. Instead, opt for long passphrases or random characters to protect yourself. Another thing is, and I know that everybody loves it, and it is the everybody's favorite and most annoying thing in the world, two-factor authentication. When you log into a website these days, a lot of times they want to text you a code, or you have an app that's going to give you a code, and everybody Every time I get this, I sigh, I'm like, this is going to take forever. It is a vital protection in today's age. You're going to want, I would recommend enabling two-factor for anything that you can that has your information in it, your personal information, your financial information, your health information. The two-factor authentication just gives you an extra layer of security to, if somebody were to guess your username and password, they're not going to have your phone number to get that 4 to 6 digit code to type in to save yourself. And it'll protect you from getting your account compromised. Another way is staying informed on scams. So there's websites out there that have what scams you're going to, or what scams are up and coming. You can Google, what scams to look out for in 2025. Reddit has a lot of information on scams that everybody are seeing, as well as there's tech websites out there such as TechCrunch, and I can show you TechCrunch in just a little bit. Those are ones that I would recommend following strictly because they're showing you these are the latest things that you're seeing. This is how to protect yourself versus this specific scam or this specific vulnerability. And we talked about all of how to identify a scam, what are your common scams, what is a scam. But last thing that I wanted to tell you is you always want to report scams that you see. You can report scams if you fall for them to your local law enforcement, if you lose any money, to get a police report going, to get any sort of identity protection going. Or you can report them to IC3. IC3 stands for Internet Crime Complaint Center, and it's actually put on by the FBI. And it's a form that you fill out that says, hey, this is how it come in. This is who was a victim. And it asks you for some information. And when you report it, it allows them to track and even combat future cybercrime from this specific source to prevent other people from falling victim to this. And that is holiday cyber scam awareness. I would like to show y'all what the IC3 website looks like. So I'll bring that over. And it's quick and easy to file a complaint. So you go to ic3.gov, and I can put all these links in chat once I'm done talking. And so everybody has them for themselves. So when you go to the site, you have a big red button, file a complaint. You click file a complaint. It says there's some terms and conditions, and it asks you for some information. And then here's the form. Who's filing this complaint? Were you the one that was affected? Yes or no? And then you fill out your contact information and go through, and it asks you how you fell for it. Now that is probably the best way to protect yourself and others. Whenever you're doing surfing online, let me get this out of the way. Whenever you're doing surfing online, a lot of times your antivirus has a safe search option, which I would highly recommend using, whether it's Norton or Bitdefender or Avast. Those are your 3 common antiviruses that you see on Windows. And I would recommend trying to at least get them installed and updated on your computer to protect yourself during the holiday season. Now, if anybody has any questions, I would gladly answer any questions for y'all.